So, I made this display here. I call it What's Inside Your Walls, to kind of give an example of what a modern house should look like if they properly installed insulation on your exterior walls. You've got framing here, or 2x4s. Usually this is doubled up. And this is a special step that a lot of people make a mistake on when they install insulation on themselves at home on their own. People will take this extra bit of craft paper here, tuck the insulation between the studs and the corners to make it look all nice. But actually, this little bit here is supposed to be folded over the studs. I stapled it just to keep it in place, but you're actually supposed to glue it because these little staples will add holes in it. And what this does is create another thermal barrier because, in fact, heat can travel through your 2x4s easier than it can travel through the insulation. So if you forget this step, your insulation may keep heat from going through right here, but heat's still going to travel through your 2x4, and without this paper to stop it, it goes straight into your drywall. So when I look at things with my thermal camera, I'll see blue here and bright orange stripes up and down your walls. And those are studs that have a lower thermal value, a lower R value than your insulation. So DIYers out there, don't forget this step. You should be putting the craft paper over the studs. Here's another step a lot of DIYers forget. Note the color of this sheetrock or drywall is green. This is a Telltale mold resistant fire coat. So this is the kind of one that you're gonna wanna use if you're doing bathroom walls, kitchen walls, areas where there's gonna be water or moisture. Now this paper itself helps mold and moisture from developing, but as you see here, if the paper rips, maybe you taped it like I did, you need to go over and mud all those areas or all of a sudden your fire and your heat resistance and your mold resistance is gone. Here's another step a lot of people forget. If you'll notice, I've got mud all the way up here, not just on my seams and not just on my nails. Now you can do it just on the seams. They're designed that way. They've got this little bit of a scoop at the end that gives you room for your tape and for your mud. So you have a nice smooth edge between pieces of drywall. But what you should really be doing is a full skim coat like this. When you do a nice thin skim coat of mud over the entire sheet of drywall, what you're doing is you're giving it an extra thermal layer, you're patching up any of these little tears and rips in the paper, and you're keeping it more mold and moisture resistant. It's also going to keep your house from having those little seams a couple years later, little cracks that go down, settlement shifts. That stuff is avoided if you give it a nice thick layer of skin coat.